right. Hey everyone. So good to see so many faces in the chat on a Saturday. It's really awesome. I'm going to introduce myself. Those of you who haven't met me yet, my name is Tobias. I am one of the urban farmers at Farmwall. And I'm going to be introducing the session today, and we're really excited to have so many of you in the chat and really looking forward to hearing from all of you. So I'm going to start by just doing a quick acknowledgement of country. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging and paying my respects to the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm streaming from today. And I would like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Cool. So yeah, like I said, I'm Tobias. I'm gonna just quickly run through some little house rules. We have some little guidelines for how we do these sessions, just so that everyone has the best time. So we'd love for you to put your video on, if you could, so that we can see all your beautiful faces, and so we can all wave at each other and pull stupid faces as well at each other and everything, and do all kinds of funny stuff. But we'd also like you to stay on mute if you can, unless you'd like to ask a question, in which case you can unmute yourself or put your hand up, and we'd love to hear from you. So, and just the last one is, yeah, let's be nice to each other, and let's all listen carefully to what everyone has to say, because we're going to talk about some really cool stuff today. Yeah, sweet. So those are the house rules, pretty simple. How's everyone's microgreen people? How many people were in the session, the stream last week, and did the seeding of the microgreen people? Can I see some? Is there anyone who was able to do that and can show their? I can see some. Oh yeah, Megan in the chat. Has it started to grow anything yet? Not yet. Okay, that's pretty normal. It's going to might take another week or two for it to really grow into the full microgreens. But keep an eye on it. Make sure you keep watering it, and feel free to take any photos as well. We'd love to see them as they get bigger, and especially once you get to the point that you can give them a haircut. That would be awesome. All right, so that's pretty much it from me for the introduction. I'm going to pass over to G now, big man, who's going to tell us what we're going to talk about today. All right, go for it, G.
Thanks, Tobias. Thanks for the introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is G, and I'm a farmer at Farmwall as well. And yeah, today we're gonna look at the Sustainable Development Goals and a first introduction to those. And we're gonna see how our fish and our little plants that we're growing inside, how they could potentially contribute to saving the world in the long term, with little steps at a time. So I've got a couple of very special guests today. Some of you might have been in the Zoom session on Thursday, might have met Wilson already. And then we've also got Sarah Rickards, which is another dear friend of Farmwall. So I might pass it on to Sarah straight away. Sarah is an amazing human, and she's been on a mission to save the world and save the planet in many different ways and forms. And she's been helping Farmwall out for quite a while. And yeah, I'll pass the puck to Sarah so she can introduce herself, and also let us know about the Sustainable Development Goals and why they're so important.
Thank you, G. Thank you, Tobias. Nice to meet you all. So lovely to see your faces on a Saturday. Hello. I don't really know where to start, but I guess firstly, have you all heard about the Sustainable Development Goals? If it's a yes, give me these little twinkle fingers so I have a bit of an idea. So there's a few yeses, but some, not all yeses. Okay. Oh, no, there is mostly yeses. Awesome. Cool. So I'm a scientist and an engineer, and when I was growing up, I was always asked what I wanted to be, and I really wanted to be like a ninja, and I loved planting trees. And the first thing I ever asked for off Santa was a mango tree, because I wanted to be able to grow my own mangoes and share them with everybody, because mangoes are like my favorite fruit ever. And so I guess I've kind of, lived this life of doing all sorts of things like that may be a little bit strange. But I'm very interested in the Sustainable Development Goals, because as you might know, if you've heard of them before at school, or you've seen them in maybe some articles and things like that, is that there's 193 countries around the world that have all committed to these goals. And so that's really cool that as a whole planet and a world, we're all committed to making the world a better place, and it's like a blueprint for how we achieve that. So if you're not feeling too shy, and you can put it in the chat, or you can maybe put yourself off mute for a second, does anybody have a favorite goal? And even if you just want to put up the number of what it is, or have you seen, do you need a bit of a reminder? Maybe I can share the goals, or do you have them with you, Tobias, to share them on the screen? Because I've got them too. I can grab them.
Yep. Feel free to share them if you like, Sarah.
I'll share my screen with you.
Awesome.
And so,
great.
Can you all see that and see the crazy amount of tabs I have open? So these are all of the goals. So the first one is no poverty. The second one's no hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, which is definitely what I'm seeing Farm Wall doing as well. And I'm sure you've got lots of amazing things happening with a lot of your schooling going online too. And gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth. There's climate action. I won't read them all out, but does anyone have a favorite one that they want to share? Is anyone feeling brave? I've got a shaking head, no? Well, one of my favorite ones to share it with you is number 17. It's about partnerships for the goals, because I think that if we don't partner and collaborate and share, it'll be really hard to achieve these goals. And so that's the one that I like playing with the most. But I highly recommend having a look at this list of things and seeing if there's one that you really like. Because there's so many of these goals to do that it's really great if we can pick a few favorite ones, and then it's sort of like splitting up all of the work around the world for us to try to achieve these things as well. So I don't want to talk for too long, because I want you to learn all about the fishes and the microgreens and all of those kinds of things. But I can't see what your name is, but I really like your facial expressions. But if there is any questions about the Sustainable Development Goals, or what Farm Wall means to the Sustainable Development Goals, you can ask me at the end or in the chat as well. But yeah, is that what you wanted me to kind of cover, Tobias and G?
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. That's awesome. Yeah, they're very ambitious goals, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to achieve them in the next 10 years by 2030, I think. Mm-hmm. the data. So we've got 10 years to achieve a lot of things. We sort of have to be superhumans, don't we?
We do have to be superhumans, superhero humans. So figuring out what our unique superpowers are is really useful for this kind of thing, because once we figure out what our superpowers are, then we can go out and be superhumans in the world using our superpowers. I'm kind of imagining you all wearing invisible capes at the moment, but maybe that'll come up in one of the other workshops. There might be a dress-up one. But yeah, I have no doubt that we can achieve these goals. I know that 10 years isn't, it doesn't seem like a lot of time, but the world's changing really quickly right now with what we've just seen with COVID and how quickly it was for everybody to mobilize and to, especially here in Australia. I'm imagining everyone here is in Australia. We could all share one goal, is to keep each other safe and stay home and look after each other, and we're able to do that and flatten that curve. And so I think that that's really beautiful proof that we have the ability to achieve these goals and build a more sustainable world for your future. So that's what I'm really interested in. I don't really call myself a scientist or an engineer too much anymore. I tell people that I'm a regenerative designer working for our shared mum, and our shared mum is the planet Earth that we all call our home.
Yeah, and one of the key messages from the Sustainable Development Goals is leave no one behind. So we're all in this together, and we all have to achieve those goals together. And the first goal of the 17 is no poverty. So at the moment there's 836 million people in the world living in poverty. And that means out of those 836 million, 1 in 5 are kids. So there's a lot of kids in the world, 1 in every 5 that lives in poverty, in extreme poverty, meaning that they've got no water or a lack of water, food, and a place to feel safe and to feel sheltered. So we want to explore with you guys what we can do with urban food production and potentially with aquaponics and with growing fish and plants together to help people in the future in the world to help them out of poverty. Could this be a solution to stop poverty? And can we use our imagination to take this to the next level? Which superpowers are we going to need? I'm going to pass it on to Wilson, Dr. Wilson. Dr. Wilson's done quite a few projects in the Pacific, where he's installed systems like you've got in your home, like the Farmo home, in people's community. And I'm very curious to hear what the result of that was. Wilson.
Hello, everybody. My name's Wilson, and I'm a scientist. So I've done lots of scientific and biological things in my life. And one of the things that I do now is I concentrate on aquaponics. And part of what I do with aquaponics is try to help people who are less fortunate in the world to grow food for themselves. So, like G said, I have done a little bit of work in the South Pacific Islands. Now, does everybody know what the Pacific is? No. It's a large ocean that Australia is sitting in. So, and it's off our east coast, so towards New Zealand and towards America. And in not too far from Australia, a couple of hours from Australia, there's a whole lot of islands with people that live on them. And that they're called areas called Polynesia and Melanesia. And on those islands, there's not a lot of resources so that people can grow their own food. So they asked me to come to a few of those islands and teach them how to do aquaponics because we thought it might help them to grow food for themselves. They have some rainfall, and so they do have fresh water. They've got a lot of salt water around them in the ocean, but you can't use ocean water to grow vegetables. And they have access to fish for sure because most of their lives has been around fishing so that they can use the fish in the ocean for food for themselves. But unfortunately, due to things like climate change and sea level rises, the reefs around the islands have been changed a little bit, and it means there's not as many fish in the reefs anymore. So what they used to use as a food source is also disappearing now. So they're coming under a lot of pressure from several different avenues because they don't have their fish anymore. Because of climate change, they don't have as much fresh water, so they can't grow vegetables for themselves to eat. They generally don't have a supermarket available, so it's a lot of just food trading on the island. And because they're on islands, these people are quite poor. Compared to you and I, they don't have a lot of stuff. And one of the things that they have problems with is access to food, so being able to get food for themselves. So I went over there to teach them about aquaponics in the hope that they could grow food for themselves. Now, just like your little systems at home, we do that, but on a larger scale. And we grow fish in those systems that people can eat. And we grow vegetables as well. So the fish that we must grow live in fresh water, like rainwater. They don't live in ocean water. You can't use ocean water in aquaponic systems because it'll kill the vegetables and they won't grow properly. So we introduced a freshwater fish for them, and we built some aquaponic systems for them to see how that they would go with the technology, and they went okay. They thought it was a bit foreign for a while, and there was a few of them that thought it was a bit of witch doctor stuff happening, so a bit of magic that they didn't understand, but in the end they came around and they understood it, and they were very happy because whilst they want to eat vegetables like all of us, they really like fish. Most of their diet in the past has been made up by eating fish. So when someone turned up with a technology where they could grow fish for themselves, they were very happy. So I went to 2 places. I went to Fiji, and most people have heard of Fiji. A lovely place, nice tropical climate, lovely people, very nice people. And I taught a course there for some local people at the university. So we did a 13-week course, and in that time we built some what we call demonstration aquaponic systems as well. So these were aquaponic systems of different sizes so that people could understand that you can build it any size you want. So one was a small one, what we call a backyard or hobby system, and you only keep maybe 20 fish in it, and you can grow maybe 50 or 60 lettuces or something equivalent. And then we built a bigger one, which was like a business system where you could actually use it as a farm and people could grow fish and vegetables and actually sell them to people. And the way that this fits in with poverty is that the biggest outcome of poverty is probably that people can't get access to what we all consider as essential things in life, and that is having some shelter, which is like the house that you live in, and having access to fresh water, and having access to food. And so the hope with the aquaponics was that it would give people the opportunity to become farmers for themselves so that they could grow food for themselves on very little resources, so that they didn't need a lot of money, and in the first instance they could grow food for themselves and their family. But once they got the hang of it, they could actually build something larger and they could start selling food to other people, and that's how they would get themselves out of poverty. And it would also help the local community build an economy so that they could all help each other. So they were very happy because I gave them the opportunity to build something fairly cheaply so that they could grow food for themselves. And the important thing about aquaponics is that I could have gone and taught people how to grow vegetables in the soil, which is very easy to do, like you can do in your backyard. But that doesn't give them any access to the fish that they like to eat. Or I could have gone and told them and showed them how to grow fish in ponds. And that would have given them access to fish, but they wouldn't have had any access to vegetables to eat. The thing they liked the most was that I turned up with the technology where they could grow both things together at once. And so they would get fish to eat and they would also get vegetables to eat. And the good thing about it is that the resource that we use to grow these things is fish feed. So from the fish feed, you get actually 2 crops coming out. You get fish, but you also get plants. And that's one of the really good things about aquaponics. It'll let you grow 2 things from the one input source, and it means that everything's more efficient. And so the money that you do spend if you're very poor goes a lot further because you produce all the food that you need rather than a little bit of it. So we went to these islands and we built them systems to demonstrate the technology, and the outcome has been that they are still using the technology, especially in Fiji. They now have a university course themselves where they teach local people how to do aquaponics. And the students that I taught, several of them came from smaller islands that are next door to Fiji, and they've taken the technology home and they're starting to grow food for people in their local community with aquaponics. That's about it, I reckon. Are there any questions? Yes.
One from James.
You can talk now, James.
When are we getting the fish?
That's a G question. You can ask that to G.
Yeah. And in 4 weeks' time, in week 7 of the program, the fish will arrive on your doorstep. Wilson has helped us explaining last week that we need to cycle the fish tank to make sure that the water is really good and for the fish to be healthy. So every couple of days, we're sprinkling a little bit of fish food in the tank to make sure that the good bacteria, the good bugs, are going to come into the water, and they're going to make the water safer for the fish. So that when the fish arrive on your doorstep, they're going to be going into a tank that's a very happy and healthy home for them. So they're going to live a long and happy life.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have you got enough patience, James, to wait 4 weeks? No. Yeah, I don't blame you.
It's a long time.
You'll have to do some more work with your plants until the fish can come.
Yeah.
And they do turn up on your doorstep, but they're in water.
How does it come in the mail?
They come in a plastic bag.
Wow.
In a plastic bag, but who keeps them from tipping over and breaking?
Oh, they're plastic bags in a box.
That's cool.
And it's carefully delivered by the people from the aquarium. And so they'll, in the same day that it's delivered to your house, you need to then have the tank ready. And as soon as you get the fish, you put them into the tank so that they spend as little time as possible in that small plastic bag. So that's why it's such a important thing that we make sure that we get our tank really homely and awesome for them, so that it's ready when the fish arrive.
I think there was a question from Ebony as well for Wilson.
What is the fish food made from? Oh, it's made from lots of different things. Mostly it's vegetables. Usually there's a lot of corn. Where's Ebony? Oh, hi, Ebony. Yeah, it's mostly, a lot of fish feed has a lot of corn in it because corn is a good quality starch that can be used to make fish food. It depends where the fish food comes from and what fish you're feeding it to, but the fish in your aquariums, it's mostly vegetable products that go into it. Any other questions? Any comments? Anyone got a joke? Anyone want to sing a song? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, go, Jim.
You want to say joke?
What do you call the ocean? How do the oceans say hello to each other? By waving.
Oh.
It's a good
Awesome. That was a good joke. I like that. Excellent.
I've got a joke as well. I'd like to share it. What is a pirate's favorite letter? You'd think it'd be R, but it'd be the C. think.
Well, that's
people like
probably it from me. I think I've got a previous engagement that I need to get to. So.
I think Sarah's got a joke for you, Wilson, and then you can go.
Oh, okay.
You want to go, Sarah?
How do you make a tissue dance? You put a bit of boogie into it.
I'm going to have to write these jokes down. The next time I see my friends, I'm going to be the funniest person in the room. Excellent. Right. But boogers and waves, I've got to remember.
Thanks, Wilson. Appreciate
No
it.
worries. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you all, and hopefully I'll see you again.
Yeah. Have a nice afternoon.
I will. Thanks.
Talk at the videos up.
So yeah, now that we've got an example of how your setup at home on a larger scale can actually help with ending poverty in countries. So it could be one way to help save the world, and one tool to help these 836 million people, and it's 1 in 5 kids, out of poverty, and help them with providing water, food, and a way to make money for themselves. So what we're going to do for the afternoon, if your parents have, have you all printed out the super sprout, the coloring image that we've sent on Facebook? Otherwise, we can email it to you, or you can start from scratch just on a blank sheet of paper. And we're going to create a superhero. So your own superhero, and that superhero is going to have superpowers to help these 836 people find access to food and water. And we're going to do a bit of a coming back next Saturday, and then we're going to see how your superhero looks like. So which colors, what name have you given them, and which superpowers are they having, so that we can create a team of superheroes that are going to help us get these people out of poverty. How does that sound?
My superhero is going to be Lettuce Man. His ability to sprout lettuce in any place that he points. Healthy lettuce and silver beet and other delicious leafy green vegetables just grow like crazy. It's a pretty awesome power. But that's just me. Think about one that might work for you guys as well.
Anybody else has an idea of a potential superhero already? Sarah?
I was thinking that my superhero could think of a plant and it just happens. So.
Instant manifestation.
Yeah.
Fantastic. How about you, James? How would your superhero look like if he was going to help feed people in the world?
He'll help feed people if they didn't have any food in their country.
And how would he do that?
He would do it by wherever he looked, he grew them.
It's a good idea.
Amazing.
That sounds a lot like my superhero.
You said
That's fine. I think we'll have if we have lots of superheroes with that power, the ability to grow food anywhere and help other people, that'll be a really awesome and good thing.
yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's it for this Saturday, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and then we can spend the rest of the afternoon thinking about how our superheroes can help us with the big ambition to end poverty in the next 10 years. And yeah, hopefully your systems are all set up. and you're cycling the tank. Is there any more questions in regards to your farm or home and how to set it up further? No? All going well for now?
Good.
Yeah.
For those that we receive the 2 pumps, do we just need to have one now running?
You can have one for now running, yeah, either the water pump or the air pump. They don't need to be running at the same time. You can run them at the same time, but then you just got to make sure that your air pump is on low. So I'm not sure if you've received your second package in the mail yet, which had a yellow valve. Looks a bit like this one. You see it? Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, you got one of those. You can basically cut your airline in half and attach your airline to each point of the valve, and then you can turn it up and down. So you can, if the air pump's too noisy or it makes too many bubbles, you can actually twist it down so it's less bubbly. But as long as the water is moving and the undergravel filtration is activated, that allows the tank to start attracting the good bugs that are going to be created from the that are attracted to the ammonia that you're creating in the tank by dropping a little bit of fish food in it every couple of days.
Okay, thank you.
No worries, you're welcome. Alrighty,
Awesome.
I think we can wrap it up and go and enjoy the sunshine outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful day, and in Melbourne it is at least. How's it in the rest of the country?
That's good. We'd love to see your superheroes as well. So if any of you feel like you want to share, maybe your parents could put some photos into the Facebook group if they like, or just have it ready for next week's kids session as well. We'd love to see them and your ideas for how we can all end poverty together.
Thanks, Tobias. See you, everyone. Have a nice Saturday.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.